Everyone, and welcome.
Oh.
Oh, no. Well, there goes my intro.
And he's out of focus already.
Oh, hey everyone, and welcome to the podcast. This podcast is an alpha and may be subject to change. Joining me today, I have the ever reliable Tefrian.
Evergreeny.
Very
3
grainy and blurry,
megabits.
but that's okay. But yeah, welcome everyone to the show. Just the two of us today. You know, I'm not going to call anyone out, but
We can make it if we try.
there are some less reliable people that, you know, we thought might show up to the show, but
Damn flakes. Kill them all.
Alright, so, there's a lot to talk about this week. There's been the PC gaming show, there's been the PS5 launch, launch reveal. I said launch. No, it's not been launched yet. But yeah, there was the reveal, the whole event that me and Tef covered it together, actually. You guys probably saw a lot of that. So I was hoping to get someone else here to, you know, bounce off and get their ideas as well, but we still got a lot we can say on it, right? I think there's a lot more we can probably say afterwards, yeah.
Probably.
We'll get something out of it. And then there's also been the PC gaming show, so probably won't have topics today because there's a lot to go through. PC gaming show was packed full of stuff. A lot of it was stuff we probably don't have to cover as much because there were a few things in there that, I mean, the PC gaming show wasn't as good as the PS5 show, we'll say that much.
I don't know, I personally can't wait to cover the Persona 4 Golden show. That's all that matters about that show.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the more notable things in there. I'm trying to think. But yeah, I suppose we'll start the show off as normal. What have you been playing this week, Tef? Tell me about Yakuza. Fill some time for me.
No? Because I've not been playing Yakuza. I've played about 2-3 hours of it this week, which is astronomically low for me with Yakuza. I've been playing Final Fantasy VII and Persona 4. I've been having a big JRPG trip.
Oh yeah, I mean, do you want to talk about Persona 4 now, or do you want to go off on your Persona 4 tangent when we talk about the PC gaming show?
Yeah, we'll save Persona 4 for a bit later.
Yeah.
Got a lot I could say about Persona. I love Persona. But besides that, I've not really had much time to play games this week. I've sad adult life coming for me. Boo-hoo. I had to work. But now I've got a fair amount of Final Fantasy VII in, and I'm still not even through the first disc. Just the longest game ever.
Are you out of Midgar yet?
Yeah, I'm out of Midgar. I was right at the end of Midgar last week, actually.
Yeah.
We were talking about it.
Because you were talking about being red. You just got red, didn't you?
Yeah. That's right. So now I've seen Sephiroth's big reveal with the famous FMV where he comes through the flames. It's very cool. I like his backstory.
Nibelheim, is it?
Yeah, that's it. That whole section's really cool. Like the way Cloud watches Sephiroth just slowly descend into madness as he realizes that he's not the same as everyone else, and then once he realizes he's not human, he just turns into a genocidal prick, which is great.
They go more in depth on that in Crisis Core, because of course they do.
Yeah, but
so I know a lot about that. I forget what happens in that segment. Like, when does that segment come up? Because
it's literally in the first town you go to. It's as soon as you come out of Midgar, you walk straight out of Midgar and straight into another town, and they all walk into an inn and they sit down in the bedroom, and Cloud goes, "Let me tell you about my past," and then he says fuck all about his past because he's got amnesia and doesn't actually remember any of it, does he? So he starts talking about Sephiroth instead, and then it's at that point when he's talking about the whole Nibelheim palaver with Jadova and Sephiroth, which just probably means loads to people who haven't played Final Fantasy VII.
Hey, you know what? We can talk about it a bit. I like Final Fantasy VII, what can I say? But, what is the town like the holiday sort of resort place? Where's the first town?
No.
I don't remember. I think that might be Disc 2. I think that's the start of Disc 2 or the end of Disc 1. I'm trying to remember.
I think you might be thinking of where I am now. I'm in a beach resort town called Costa del Sol.
Oh,
the real place.
That is the end of Disc 1. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay, that's where I am now. The first town is called Calm with a K, and it's just a really generic looking village, and it's just got kind of really basic generic English houses, like old school Victorian English houses sort of thing. It's really really basic. It's probably why I don't remember it, and nothing really happens there except they sit in that inn and talk about Sephiroth. So
yeah,
probably why I don't really remember.
Yeah, I remember Costa del Sol though. That's the end of this one. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you're about to get in a boat or something.
No, I've been in the boat.
Okay. Is that
Because
okay?
to get to Costa del Sol, you've
Gotta
got to go
take the
through
boat.
the town, which has like the big gun on top of it, and there's like a huge Shinra base above the town, and you have to like sneak into the base, and
Okay.
there's like a helicopter up there, and it's a weird town.
Is
Like
there
you've
an
got to go
airship
through
there?
all that in order to. Yeah, there's an airship. Yeah, but you end up getting on a crappy little boat instead. You end up like stowing away on a ship.
Okay, I'm trying to remember everything from Final Fantasy 7. Like, you go back to some of the locations, so a lot of it's like jumbled up in my head, so I'm not sure exactly where you are.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like the storytelling is so good that it shines through, even though the translation's dreadful. Like, especially even coming from 6, Final Fantasy 6 had a well better translation. In 7,
the story
everyone
in
just
6
talks
is
like a weird robot.
uh,
It is good. It is good. I do think probably better in 7, but it's kind of ruined by the translation. But at the same time, the story is so good that the translation can't really kill the story. So,
like, Final Fantasy 6 is probably my favorite. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they developed the characters so well in Final Fantasy 6, and they have so many characters in that one. And all of them have like their own unique backstory that you go through. It's really well done.
yeah, they do really focus on the characters in that game, which I really like. Which is why you like Persona 4 as well. Persona 4 is really good for that.
We'll get to that. Don't you worry, Tef. Calm down.
We will. Oh. No, it's like it is good in 6 compared to 7, where 7's got this weird thing where there's like a million Shinra goons and they're all named and they've all got personalities, but there's so many of them you can't remember who's who.
Oh,
And
yeah.
like you can't. They've all got like specific job roles within Shinra, and you can't remember who does what. They just show up in like villain monologue at you for a bit and then disappear again.
I'm pretty sure they show up in Crisis Core as well. I think I know who you're talking about.
There's loads of them. There's one called Reno, and there's
Reno.
there's
They've got like a gang name though. I'm pretty sure, like a division name.
You're thinking of the Turks, which is like the Shinra secret police. Some of them are like one of them's the head of the Turks.
Yeah.
But like the rest of them, I'm not sure.
I think they all are Turks. You know.
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think all of them are, because some of them are like on the board in the Shinra headquarters, like they're in the boardroom. So I don't think all of them are Turks. Some of them are actually like executives, and there's one of them who's like they introduced the president of Shinra and was like, this is the big bad guy who rules the company that's destroying the world, and then immediately kill him off, and his son swaggers in, and his son literally goes like, yeah, my dad was kind of evil, but he did have some morals and he had some rules that he lived by, and he believed in brainwashing everyone into believing in the dystopian land. I'm not going to do that. I'm an evil bastard. I'm just going to make everyone fear me. And that's like literally what he says to Cloud. He goes, I guess this is my inauguration speech. I'll let you guys listen to it. And then he just goes, I'm an evil bastard. And Cloud's like, well, gotta do something about you then.
Yeah, I don't remember the first like half of that game very well. I guess it's because it's been so long since I've played it. I played this years ago. I think I remember more about Final Fantasy 6 because I played it again back in 6th form. Mostly because, you know, I could have it on on a Game Boy emulator. But I did own the game. Just to put that out there. But yeah.
I was a good boy. I used to play a legit copy of Final Fantasy 1 on my phone in 6th form. But Final Fantasy 1's so bad. It's just so boring.
Yeah, no, I can't do the very old Final Fantasies, but like 6, I played a lot of 6. I remember people, you know, I remember people coming up to me while I'm playing 6 being like, hey, is that game good? And I'm like, yep. So just ignoring them playing the game. It was good times. You get to suplex
Great
the train.
story.
Well, no, I
get to suplex the train, that's true. Can't argue with that.
I mean, I think it's to go more in depth in the story, it was some random girl that was like, you know, trying to get me to watch Attack on Titan with her, and I was like, no, I'm playing Final Fantasy. And I was like, and then she was like, and I've never spoken to her before, but she was like, hey, come, and I was like, no, I'm good. Playing this. I think I've said this to you before.
Yeah, I think this might have been on the podcast before. You're just discussing your massive virgin energy.
It's incel energy nowadays, come on.
All around me are familiar faces.
I guess incel's involuntary, actually. This was
Yeah, you're a voluntary beta. That's your weird game plan here.
Hey, what can I say? I like Final Fantasy. Don't interrupt me. But yeah,
So that's what
all
I've
you've
been
been
playing
playing?
anyway. Is there anything else you want to say about 6 before I move on?
Oh, I could do a whole podcast on 6. I'm not gonna lie. 6 is. I want to play 6 again. Let's play 6. Let's do it right now on the podcast.
We'll save 6 for a rainy day podcast when there's no news.
Yeah. But
You can.
is that all you've been playing this week then? I'm not gonna lie. I've not been playing a lot myself.
No, I think that's about it. I mentioned another game. I'm sure there's Final Fantasy 7, Persona.
You mentioned 3 hours of Yakuza.
Yeah, I don't have much to say about Yakuza because I'm not really that much further than I was last week.
All right. That's it then. I mean, for me, I've just been playing the expansion of the arcade expansion that came out.
Oh, there it is.
I've been putting a lot of videos on it. You know, hey, the video's been doing well. People like the videos. What can I say?
Absolutely spamming my subscriptions box.
I don't even know how many people you sub to on YouTube. I think I've just 90 people or something on there. Half of them don't post anymore because they were all from like 2010.
Probably the same for me. I've got no idea how many I'm subscribed to. I don't even know how you'd even check that these days.
I think it says on like the left-hand side when you're on my subscriptions. There's like a list of
them.
Oh, it does. Number.
Yeah. 5, 6. Hang on. So it says 84 more. Let me just count how many you actually on the screen. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 91 subscriptions for me.
Yeah, we're around the same then. These are all people I followed back in ye olde days, and you know, most of them don't do anything on YouTube anymore. So
yeah, I don't recognize half these people.
But yeah, I've been playing the expansion for the garden. It's okay. It is what it is. I've mostly been going around picking flowers and.
But what is it?
Well,
Tef, I don't actually know much.
Let me tell you all about it. So, the garden expansion is this brand new area that they've introduced. In the legacy game, it's free, but for Unchained, you've got to pay because that's just the business model they're going with. So a lot of people complained about that because I think the biggest issue with it is there's a new tier of gear that you can only get in the garden, and that makes you stronger. And I think getting that gear off is a major problem for the expansion. And they need to let you craft, like, the scrolls you can use to like upgrade your gear, and they need to let you craft up to the scrolls that are in the garden. I think you need to be able to do that. But the garden is like this. It's just this whole big new area that's like a cross server. It's like cross server for some reason. It's like a cross server instance that's massive. It's got like 4 world bosses in there plus a big new world boss, which is like the big raid of there. And then there's like some gathering material, like flowers around that you can gather for like new potions and stuff and new foods. But that's it for the most part. There's still more stuff to come in it, like a new dungeon. There's like more story quests as well, and like they have the hero ability, the new like god abilities that are in there, which I haven't got to play with yet, but they're in there apparently.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say it doesn't sound like a whole lot for an expansion.
It's not
but if
really.
There's like more coming.
There is more coming, but like there's supposedly this. I read ahead because I've been reading the Korean patch notes, so that's how I do my videos. So I know there's like this golden sanctuary coming that looks really cool. But yeah, I can't even kill a single mob in there right now on my own. In this whole new area, because all the mobs have like 300k health and deal a massive amount of damage. Because they've changed how they work as well, because there's different weapon types and armor types in the game. So certain weapon types and certain armor types are like weak or stronger against the different mobs in there, depending on the buffs that the mobs have, which is a new thing in the game. So
it's nice touch.
It is a nice little touch, but I think the big problem is the getting off of gear, which is what I've complained about in my videos. And we've had some funny comments in regards to that, which hold on, where's my phone? Hold on. Let's pull some fun comments. Hold on.
So while you're doing that, how much is the expansion?
So there's 3 tiers. I think the cheapest was £15, $20, I think.
Right.
And then there's like another tier that was, they've got like silver, gold. Oh, there's also a big thing I want to talk about with that actually. So I completely forgot about this, but in the gold pack there was access to a new fresh start server that was coming.
Right.
I think you might.
I saw a lot of beef about this on Twitter. Yeah.
So they had this fresh start server, and it was only available in the gold pack. So if you bought the lowest tier pack, you couldn't access this fresh start server, which is like a reset. It's like you go on there with a new character, everyone's back to zero on there for people that want to be in like an even playing field. But last second, the day before the expansion came out, once a bunch of people had already pre-ordered the expansions and bought it, they swapped it around and said, well, as long as you buy the silver tier or an account after this specific date, you can join the fresh start server anyway.
Okay.
They swapped it last minute, and I don't know if people were getting refunds. I don't think because some people just bought that gold pack just for the access to the fresh start server. So
yeah, that is scummy, like definitely.
It is very it's just very underhanded. I feel like I don't know if it was intended to be, because I know I don't know. I feel like they're just the company behind it is just very unorganized. Honestly, I think.
I guess
management.
There's one way of seeing it is that they were just trying to do some damage control, because people were complaining about the fresh start server in the first place. And maybe that just backfired because they did it right on the last day before it went live.
Yeah,
and kind of screwed over all the gold tier with people.
I just think they're very bad at like communication and management in general. I think that's always been a big issue for Arcade.
Asian companies. Not great at like communicating too well. So
yeah,
show us these comments.
Okay, so in response to one of my videos, some guy was like, the progression is amazing and there is no pay to win. And then of course this one got a bunch of responses, like someone was like, ha ha ha, nice one bro, that made me laugh so hard, which I found interesting. And then someone else was like, well, I don't think it's pay to win, and then a bunch of people went off on him. I mean, people get...
Oh, YouTube, never change.
People get pretty upset over it. It's great. I enjoy reading the comments. They don't...
It's only game. Why you have to be mad?
I mean, again, yeah, I do take issue with them getting gear. They shouldn't get gear off. They need to fix that. I'm going to keep complaining about it until they do.
This is the second podcast in a row that we have complained about it, actually.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
Keep it going. Every week I'll be back to complain about it. But yeah, that probably means that they're not going to be giving me any free codes for anytime soon. I'm probably on like a blacklist. They probably are this guy.
Oh, it's worth a try.
Yeah, I mean, I actually did see someone was like giving out codes who was like a streamer. They were smaller than me as well, which was strange. So I was like, yeah, I think I'm on a list.
That's so heavy.
Oh well, it's the way it goes.
The way it goes.
Anyway, that's... I've been playing some indie games, actually. Played a couple last night. I could talk about.
I mean, yeah, you kind of got to do that, though. That's kind of your job.
I mean, kinda.
So's Arcade, actually.
Yeah. I played something called Signal, which is like a very short game. It was like a short time management sort of well, it's not on point and click, so it's just like there was a bunch of buildings in this area, and visiting each building took time and stuff. So it'd be like, to go to this building takes 5 minutes, and then you had options to like search the building and then you could try and open a door in the building, but it would take a certain amount of time, and there was like a certain amount of time until the rescue team would come and pick you up. And you go into a building and find a guy that's like dying. And then you also, on top of the meter of the people arriving, you have a death meter for this guy. So you have to go manage resources, come back and like bring him water and power cells to like the med bay to keep him alive, while also managing your time. So there was like a generator that you could turn on, and you could only power one building at once. So if you powered the med bay, you'd give him an extra hour to live. But if you then took it away, he'd lose that hour. So you had to sort of manage that back and forth. And then I think there were multiple endings. There were like multiple ways you could end it. But I went into this secret basement and inserted the package. Well, I got like I think there was like a hexagonal thing that I inserted into a computer that then made an egg react to it, and then there was earthquakes, and then the rescue team arrived, and then I think I was infected with a virus. It was cool.
Dun dun dun. Topical. It sounds really cool. It sounds like my worst nightmare because I hate being timed, but it's a really cool concept.
Yeah, it was very short though. It was just a small indie game, but it was cool. I appreciated it. It was called Signal. Not the most inspired name, but most indie games are not very inspired name-wise.
I mean, I do appreciate those indie games that just kind of make the statements and leave. You know,
yeah,
they don't overstay their welcome. I do like that.
Yeah, it's good, but I had a lot of fun with that. I was tempted to give it another try to see if I could get another ending, but I think I already gave it an hour at that point, so I decided to dip out. And then I went on to do one more game that week, which was Mayhem in Single Valley, it was called. It was a very strange name, but it was getting published by, who was it? Hold on, it was getting published by a big dev anyway. Well, not a big publisher, a big like indie publisher, so it's gonna have a...
Like Chucklefish or someone?
No, it wasn't Chucklefish, I forget the name of it. Hold on, let me look it up. Mayhem in Single Valley. Getting published by... Let's find out. That's Tiny Build. There we go.
I
don't know why toy was popping into my... I mean, it begins with a T. Close enough.
I'll do.
But yeah, so I was like, okay, I'll give this one a try. And it was... It's just a very wacky sort of 2D... Well, it's like 2D, 3D. It's got like a weird thing going on with it. And then there's like a zombie apocalypse, and you're telling you start the game off in a church, surrounded by zombies, and you go into the confession booth and then tell your story to the priest in there. And it goes back to like the start of the day, and you get out to bed, and then you have to like... I think you have to like do this checklist of stuff, like put your brother to bed and stuff, and clean up the poop from the dog outside. So there's a mini game with that where you have to like scoop up poop and throw it into a bin while the dog continues to poop until you get the meter down low enough.
Well, does that work until like the dog runs out of poo, or until like the bin is full? Like once the bin is full, does the dog know that that's time to stop pooing? So I had like a
toxic waste meter at the top, and each time the dog pooped, it went up. And then each time you put one on the bin, it went down. So you had to balance it out and get it to the bottom before the dog would stop.
Stop the pollution.
Yeah. So Amazing. You just have to keep throwing them in there. And then also there was a fridge with unlimited beer. You just kept opening the fridge and beer would fall out over and over. So
the dream.
Of course, I stood there for a good 3 minutes opening the fridge over and over again to break the game. And
that's amazing.
And then what I realized was, you had to lure the dad upstairs to bed with the beer. So I knew the beer did that to him, but then the problem was there was like 100 beers on the floor of the kitchen, so he was standing in front of the fridge chugging beers over and over again.
Yeah, you brought that upon yourself.
I did. I had to grab beers and I had to go outside and start chucking them in the garden. And I was like jumping over a fence because there were neighbours on one side were barbecuing, so I was just throwing beers onto the barbecue and then running back inside and grabbing more to just keep chucking on the barbecue.
Amazing.
But that's not even like the main part of the game. That's just me messing about. The actual main game, you go out into the world and there's like different like puzzles. Well, I would say puzzles, but it's like you gotta navigate about and you just throw stuff at people. That's your weapon. You can't actually kill anyone, so you sort of just hit them with whatever you can, like throwing beers, for example. And there's an old woman at the very start when you first come out who is she's been attacked and dropped a walker on one side, so you have to go pick that up and give it back to her. And when she does, she's like, "Oh, aren't you very nice? Here you go, have a candy." And she gives you a hard candy. I was like, "Oh, I'll eat this." it kills you. You eat the hard candy, you choke and die.
Oh my god, I need to play this game. This is brilliant.
It's very silly. It's got a bunch of fun stuff. I feel like the main loop of the game is they've got each level just has like a different thing going for it. Like one level, you're just getting chased by a bunch of animals. Another level, you are in some sort of desert and the wind's blowing and you've got an umbrella and you need to hold out the umbrella and jump, and when the wind's pushing in the right direction to like platform across, and there's a train. And there's another level where you're in a school with a ghost, and you've got to find like the matching Valentine's card for the ghost because she wanted to know who her Valentine was. And then there's one where you're in a zoo and you've got to like deal with a rhino and a bunch of other animals. But yeah, it's funny. It's an interesting game. I liked it.
Sounds really good. I'm gonna play that demo. Actually, I've been taking a look at the Steam page. I've been talking about it. It looks really cool.
Yeah, it's just a very silly game, so I'm interested to see where that goes because I imagine there's a lot more to it. It gave me a lot of levels, surprisingly, before it decided. It was like, okay, we've cut off, because it actually cut back to the church at the very end. And then you go out, and then you go like underneath the altar and out into a graveyard, and then you go meet like the shadow demon who's your nemesis for the thing, and then he's like, well, you're not supposed to be here just yet, and then it's like demo ends. But yeah, that's what I've been playing this week at least. So we've sounds good. Looking at it right now, being like, "Oh, might give this a go."
I'm just hyped to play it. Oh yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I might have hyped it up a bit too much. It would just be grabbing beers out of a fridge over and over again and chucking them.
I just like games that encourage you to screw around.
Yeah, that's what I liked about it. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. That's 30 minutes of the podcast killed already. And we've still got the two shows to go over, so we got a lot. Alright, so shall we start with the PlayStation 5 show? What do you think, Tef?
Yeah, okay. Because we both know about that one. I don't actually know a whole lot about the PC gaming show. I didn't watch it, so...
Yeah, well, I mean, I can talk about that. There's a lot I can talk about on certain characters in the PC gaming show, I'll say that much.
But yeah. Oh, characters. Influences.
Well, there was... I guess there were influences on the...
Save that for that part of the podcast.
I mean... Craig Knowles. I mean, he is, but But, I didn't have a problem with Craig Knowles, that's fine. But, let's talk about PlayStation, because this is what we all want to talk. PlayStation 5. What does PlayStation 5 need? GTA 5. That's what it needs.
Oh yes. First announcements to get you really hyped. Hit the ground running.
It was such a, why, who decided let's open with GTA 5?
Let's get the bro gamers in immediately. We need to sell it to them immediately.
It immediately put me to sleep, is what it did.
Yeah, honestly. Oh, they didn't even have the decency to make the graphics look better. Looks the same.
No, I mean, I remember starting that and you were like, "Oh, is this GTA 6?" And I was like, "No, this is GTA 5." And we were both just like, I
got hyped for a split second because they showed an image of Michael, and he had he was very...
Was he doing yoga or something?
And he was lit in a weird way where it made him look better. It made the graphics look better. So I thought, oh, is this Michael in GTA 6 or something? And then no, it's just GTA 5.
It's not even a new trailer for GTA 5. It's an old one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I didn't know that, but I'm not surprised.
That's why I knew what it was.
They had the goal to be new and improved features for PS5, but then they didn't say what they were.
Yeah, none. Let's be honest. There's no new features. You can now actually buy additional shark cards. That's the feature. You get more shark cards. You actually, you get a free million, don't you? Free million if you pre-order or something.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
Just with the game?
There's I don't know. They had some promotion at the end of the trailer, remember, which was to do with playing GTA Online now. If you play it between now and the release of the PS5 version, they'll throw in some extra money, which they're throwing loads of money at you now anyway, because that's how they're trying to get people into GTA Online now. They give you $1 million or so to get the ball rolling, to get you hooked, because it was like
Yeah.
that when I got it on the Epic Store for free. That came with like a free mill and I think a free apartment on GTA Online as well. But who cares? Got it on PC. I'll just play 5M where like all the good stuff actually happens.
Yeah. I really wanted to get into an RP server on that because the RP servers look like a lot of fun. But
You should do that sometimes.
they're hard to get on, to be honest. Like, you've got the good ones you've got to like apply for. And I applied for one good one and got on, but I got on there and it was like, I guess doing it alone is not as fun. You need like someone to go in with, otherwise it's just sort of you just standing there.
Die alone.
Die alone. But yeah, would be fun.
Yeah, it will be good, and they are better with a mate. I remember, I don't know if I ever did it with you, but way back before GTA 5, San Andreas used to have a big.
I think we did play it together. I remember playing it because you could.
You probably got
like a
us
bunch of job roles.
I'm sure.
Listen,
Yeah.
we could make gangs and stuff, couldn't you? Because I remember having a gang and getting like really cool. I remember there was the bank actually. There was like a big event that was like the bank robbery. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember.
You could also deal drugs. I remember doing that a lot as well.
I think now you're just thinking of the Gary's mod RP that we used to do. Where we were just bad meth dealers all the time.
I mean, I remember that, but you could definitely do it in the San Andreas one as well, because there was like, I think you got drugs by doing this one event as well. There was like one event where you'd like, because it was always the police versus criminals, wasn't it, in these events? I don't know if you were ever in any of them. You don't recall?
I don't really remember them now, no.
But yeah, there was a ton like that, and you could get drugs from them and stuff, and then to sell them, there used to be this like one little alley that everyone would stand in, and they just sort of, you know, I think you stood there and you did something, and it would put out like a little marker for people to stand on to like sell the drugs. Good times. I enjoyed selling drugs.
Oh, San Andreas. I enjoyed selling drugs on Zanrise 2020.
But yeah,
there's a clip right there.
That's GTA 5 anyway. Look at us talking about a game that isn't GTA 5 because we just don't care.
Yeah, we quickly changed the subject there.
But
what
yeah,
about Gran Turismo though? Oof.
Oh, manly cars. Look at this car.
Manly cars. They're so manly they can't be damaged.
Replace your car with this digital car. It's a shame though, because, you know, usually in these events, you know, they get to do it on a stage, so whenever they do a car game, they usually get to also like lift up a car onto the stage as well. Be like, look at this real life car that you can now drive in this video game.
That's true, we didn't get that. Very sad.
You don't get to like executive stroke in the car while they're like, look at our game. You get to ride in this car.
I don't know what it is about racing games, but at this point, racing games now look more realistic than real life. Like they've got the sheen down perfectly. Cars in games look better than they do in real life now. It's just so good, so good.
Because cars in real life are dirty.
Oh my god.
Cars in games are clean.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You're right. That's 100% it.
Remember, you get your real life one that's just a mess. It's like all covered in dirt. It's got a few scratches on it.
I'm gonna go look at images of Dirt 3 now and be like, oh yeah, okay, it does look pretty crap because the cars are dirty.
But yeah, that's it. And then people are like, oh, you know, instead of owning a car and having to clean it, I get this pristine one that I can keep in my virtual garage and stare at as it shines and glimmers in front of me. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't really care.
No, car games they're not for me.
No.
But yeah.
Me an arcade racer any day, but not a simulator. I'm not too bothered.
What actually came on after the GTA 5? Was it Gran Turismo? Was that the second game they did?
I can't remember. I don't remember the order really. Gran Turismo was early, but I don't know if it was first. I think the first one might have been at Project Athia, actually. That was quite early on.
That was early on. It was very brief as well. Project Athia looks really good, though. That's Square Enix, so I've got high hopes for that one. But, you know, it does mean, because it's Square Enix, it'll probably be out in like 5 years. So, look forward to that.
Probably.
Considering the length of the teaser as well.
Though.
Yeah, it looks like a really interesting world. And, like, you said it looked like the Unreal Engine demo, didn't you? The way she's like...
Did.
Is it a she in it? You know, they're like jumping around a bunch, aren't they?
It's a girl.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was at least.
So I saw someone on Twitter pointed out, if you go and look at it now, go like look at Project Athia and look at the image. There's a shot of her standing on the top of a hill and like looking over a clouded vista, and the like rock formations that you can see look exactly like the open world from Final Fantasy 15. Like it's exactly the same.
Oh, on the top
someone
left.
pointed it out. Like, yeah.
I see.
Mean? Like with the arches and with the spiky part as well. The way it comes up, it looks
immediately.
It looks like that weird basin in the middle of the open world. It looks exactly the same. That's got to be like a placeholder or something, surely.
I mean, I don't know. It looks very cool though. I don't know what it is, but it looks cool. It looks like you do a lot of jumping about. You got magic powers and control like roots or something. I remember that being a part of it.
All I really know is that it's going to be an action RPG. That's pretty much all I know about it.
Yeah.
Because I think they confirmed that after the show. Because we weren't sure whether it was even an RPG or not at the time, were we?
Yeah, we had no idea what it was. Again, all you saw was a woman jumping between stuff and being like, root powers. That's all we really saw. But,
pretty much, yeah.
I think there are more details about it here somewhere. It's Luminous Productions. Doesn't say exactly what it is, but Luminous Productions, published by Square Enix. I mean, high hopes. You know, it looks interesting. Very cool looking world. But yeah, that is. There's not really a lot to say on it, is there? Because there wasn't a lot to go on.
No, it was a tease, wasn't it? So yeah, there's not much to really go off.
Again, we'll see that in like 5 years.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to. We also had Ghostwire Tokyo, which we could talk about. That
did look cool.
That did look really cool.
I found out afterwards that that's not the first time that game's been shown. Apparently, it's been shown before, and it had a very different vibe. The first time it was shown, apparently, it had more of a horror style to it than it did now, because it leaned quite into the sci-fi
vibe.
Yeah, like there was a bit of that in what we saw, wasn't there? But it kind of had a sci-fi edge as well, which apparently
it was like actiony.
Yeah, kind of reminded me of Death Stranding. A lot of the games reminded me of Death Stranding, actually.
Death Stranding's been on your mind for the past few weeks. You brought Death Stranding up a lot whenever we mentioned the game. You're like, it's kind of like Death Stranding.
I just think, I mean, with new games, since it's come out, it's had an impact on games, definitely. And I'd like it. Regardless of what you think about Death Stranding, because it's a Kojima game, everyone's gonna steal a little bit of that aesthetic for their game for the next year or so.
Yeah, I mean, I think I still need to play Death Stranding at some point, because it's a Kojima game. I like Kojima. I gotta see what it's like at some point. I'll probably like it, let's be honest.
Oh, Ghostwire is Shinji Mikami. I didn't know that.
Oh? It was.
And now we're both like, And
it's published by Bethesda, right? Wait, Bethesda.
Check.
Yeah, it's Bethesda. So.
Okay, so if he's working for Bethesda now, who's making Resident Evil 8?
I don't.
Does he even still work on Resident Evil? I don't know, actually. I don't know if he.
I don't know.
On them.
I think he might have stopped working on them.
No, that's right. He did. Yeah, because he made the Evil Within, didn't he? So he's been out of the game for a while in the Resi.
I played the first Evil Within. I didn't play the second one. The Evil Within, it was okay. I wasn't like.
Yeah, everyone just says it's just all right.
I wasn't like a massive fan of it. Like, it wasn't something I'd go back to. But it's okay. I can see it had like some Resident Evil 4 vibes to it, but it's okay. But yeah, Ghostwire Tokyo looks cool. That's something I definitely want to try at some point. I think we'll see how
I'll play that.
Changes. And then we also had Godfall that came on, which had that dreadful rap song alongside it that just didn't fit. Remember that one?
Godfall. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That just looked like a God of War knockoff.
It looks very generic. It's also coming to PC, so it's not a PS5 exclusive. I think it might be a timed exclusive for PS5. But that is coming to PC. Again, it just looks like sort of a third-person melee game, you know? A lot of melee going on.
Typical action-adventure game. It just... My head just switched off while that was on. It looked so standard.
It might have been the rap that made me switch off even more.
Yeah, not gonna... because we're huge boomers and don't like rap.
I mean, that, and it just didn't fit at all. Like, why have you got a rap song to this, like, fantasy God of War type looking game?
It's so weird.
I don't know.
Counterplay Games. Counterplay Games is made by... I've
what
never
does
heard
Counterplay Games
of them.
do? Hold on. I think I've heard the name. I don't know.
Godfall's the only thing on their website. I think this might be their first game, actually.
Oh no, they also made Duelist, which I don't think I've ever heard of. Let me look up Duelist. Duelist was a collectible card game. Is this for mobile?
Yeah, I think this is their first proper game. They don't even have a Wikipedia page. Like, Godfall's got a Wikipedia page, and it says Counterplay Games is the developer, but there's no link there. They don't even have their own page.
Yeah, so it was a free-to-play card game, turn-based strategy card game that was published by Bandai. I think it looks like a mobile game. I don't know. Honestly, for the first like big game, it looks pretty good. I just don't know.
It's okay, but I think it's just
Yeah, I just don't know if I'm not interested. Yeah, I think it'll be for some people, but not for me. All right then.
Looks pretty standard.
Yeah, looks like I don't know.
They helped with development. Sorry.
Go on. What did they help with development
on? Destiny 2, which I think
I was about to say it looked like Destiny. I was about to say it looked like Destiny in a way. That doesn't surprise me at all.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. All right then. That's Godfall at least. I guess we'll see how that actually turns out, but it does have sort of a Destiny vibe. I was about to say like the armor and everything, the way it sort of looked, seemed to have that feel. But other than that, we also had NBA 2K21 Sweaty Man Simulator.
Oh, he was so sweaty.
He was very sweaty.
And he was not doing that much either. Like, it did not warrant that level of sweat. He was just practicing basketball by himself, and he was all sweaty as if he just dodged and weaved through loads of people, and then he just like he scored or whatever. I don't know basketball, but he put the ball through the hoop, and he was like, "Yeah!" As if it was this huge achievement. Just no need for that.
Yeah,
just defacing public property. Oh God, I've just opened. I've just opened
the sweaty man
the trailer. I just opened the trailer and I clicked on a random part in the scrub bar, and it just got hit with a sweaty face.
Yeah,
zoomed right in.
There is one where he's like right zoomed in his face, and there's sweat dripping all over him. But look at how many triangles are in that sweat.
I mean, it's very HD sweat. I'll give it that. Can't argue with that.
But yeah,
I just didn't want to see it, man.
But yeah, I also fell asleep in that part of the show. Just wanted to bring it up because that's
not really aimed at us.
No. We also had Hitman 3 get announced, which is exciting for me. I think they could have just added this as an expansion to 2. I don't know. Maybe it's going to look a lot better, but it's going to come to PC because I mean, Hitman 2 and 1 did as well. So I imagine this is PC.
You keep saying this, and it's confusing me because I thought the whole point of this new Hitman series is that it's episodic. So when it's called Hitman 3, it just means Hitman Season 3, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's technically what it means. So, but they've changed. They've actually, it's the separate games on Steam. So you'd have Hitman, and then you buy Hitman 2, and then there's episodes for each of the games. So you buy Hitman 1, and you could buy just one episode of Hitman 1, and that's like one level. And then you can do the same for Hitman 2, and you can just buy individual. I don't know if you can buy it into like a later level. I think you got to buy them in like the order. I don't know.
I don't know.
But that's why I think it could have just been an expansion. I think they could have just added it as DLC. Honestly,
that's essentially what it is, though. Surely,
yeah,
it's just like another season of the same game. It's probably going to be more or less the same engine.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering why they've got to make a whole new game out and be like, this is Hitman 3. It's like, is it Hitman 3?
I think you're looking at it the wrong way. It's Hitman Season 3. That's just the way they do it now, isn't it?
Yeah, but they are individual games though as well.
I mean, it's probably just going to add like some new features and probably brush up the graphics a little bit for PS5.
Yeah, I think the problem with it is like in Hitman, the way Hitman works is they have a lot of these weekly challenges as well, and you can do these weekly challenges to earn different like cosmetics and different stuff that you can use in the levels, and that all resets in a new game as well. So that's like so I don't know if it's the same engine, if it's the same game, why not just make an expansion and be like, hey, here's the expansion, buy these 5 extra levels.
Right, yeah, that kind of makes sense. Actually, I get what you mean there, because it is meant to be a follow-up in the sense of a new series. I'm reading about it now as well, but because they're creating a whole new game for it, I see what you mean. It kind of... Oh, hang on, no. So it allows players to carry over locations and progression from Hitman 2. So you will keep your progression with Hitman 3, and it's backwards compatible. It says, we're very proud to have the entire trilogy all playable from within Hitman 3, and make it the ultimate place to play any game from the trilogy.
That's fair enough then.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, in a way, I'm glad that I've not played any of the new Hitman games. I might wait for that one and then just get all of them in one big package.
You're going to have a good time with those. Like, honestly, the new Hitman games are the best Hitman games. Like,
wow, that's saying something. That's not a common opinion, that either.
Is it not?
No, a lot of people say it's... Well, a lot of people just say that the very newest ones don't really focus on stealth that much. Like, you can just cheese it and run in guns blazing if you want to.
So, yeah.
And that the AI is not as complicated as it used to be and stuff like that. Because the only one I've played is the original Hitman 2, which, considering how old that game is... Yeah. That was like a PS2 game, but everyone was very intelligent in that game, and the AI, like, it was very smart. Actually, didn't just have a cone of vision that was like 2 feet in front of it. Like, they could actually see you from across the map if you were in their line of sight and things like that. Yeah. And they've done that down a bit, haven't they? Which I know some hardcore Hitman fans don't like.
So they have different levels of difficulty. On the hardest difficulty, they will notice anything, I'm pretty sure. So like,
that's fair enough, I guess.
Like, if you start running, they'll hear your footsteps, so you've got to stay low. And you can do stuff like you can shoot a bullet at a wall, and then they'll like hear the gunshot and go over to where the bullet was shot, and they'll do stuff like that. So there are ways you can cheese it as well. So what a lot of people like to do is do speed runs of the levels. Speed runs are a big thing in Hitman because they've got like a leaderboard, and like you can compete against other people, and then people make their own levels. People make their own levels, so you can then compete on those levels as well.
How's that work? Do you like create objectives to do within the world?
Yeah, so how it works is, I think you go in, what you have to go and perform the contract. So you'd go and find like a random person and be like, okay, I'm gonna kill this person, and then you kill them in a certain way, in a certain time, and then and then that's the level done. And then you escape a certain way, so that's the level done. And then the person who actually plays the level has to do exactly what you did. So you can make it really difficult by, doing stuff in a really weird way and stuff like that. Cool. Yeah, they've done some really cool stuff, and I think it is the best Hitman, regardless of what people say.
I'll definitely be playing it. Well, I'll wait until that comes out now. I might as well, and get the whole trilogy. Because I have played the demo of Hitman 2, which is the beach house level, which was fun.
Oh, that's not no. That's very that's just like.
Well, yeah, it's a taster. Yeah. That's it. It's just like because it's a very small level, isn't it, comparative to the other ones? Because I know the other ones are meant to be like open world. Yeah. So that first level's literally just a beach house on an empty beach. It's very small. Yeah.
So the levels have like. There were some levels that have there's like city levels where you're in like, I think you're in a town in the Middle East or something in one of them, and there's like hundreds of people walking the streets. And then you go and there's like different places you can go into, and there's a barber shop, and you can disguise yourself as a barber and give people haircuts, and you wait for your target to come in, and then you just and then throw them in the old bin behind you and close up shop.
Classic.
But there's stuff like that you can do, and it's it's classic. It's a good Hitman, best Hitman game. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Fight me internet. I'll do it. But yeah, we spoke a lot
I'll
on
have to
Hitman.
take
though.
your word for it.
Yeah,
We did.
You can, I'd say definitely pick it up when 3 comes out. I'm gonna do it myself. I'll probably stream it actually, because I streamed 1 and 2.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. And get some tips off you then.
Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, because I did them all suit only Silent Assassin. Because that was just, it's fun to do it that way. I don't know if you know what that is.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I know enough of yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, to me, the most fun you can have on Hitman is finding the stupidest disguise to use. That's like,
Oh,
that's where most of the fun comes
disguises,
from for me.
don't worry, you've got that's in the game still. Still very silly.
Excellent.
But yeah, go on, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, so what else happened?
Okay.
What else did they show?
So we also had Deathloop from Arcane Studios, which are the guys who made Dishonored, and this looks really cool.
Yeah, it
I have
looks
no
so
idea how it
much like
works.
Dishonored that we came to the conclusion that it was a Dishonored, didn't we? And that's
We thought
actually
it was
not true.
Dishonored 3 at first. I was like, this looks very modern day for a, well, not modern day, but you know, like futuristic for Dishonored. I was like confused. I was like, what are they doing? And then apparently it's a whole new game called Deathloop where you're like caught in this like time bubble or something, and every time you die it resets the day or whatever. Something along those lines. Maybe there's checkpoints that you reset to, and it like rewinds time, and you have to like go in. Or it describes it as each time you go in, you learn something new, and then you take that experience to like get around stuff. I don't know how exactly that's gonna play out, but it's got like a very 70s aesthetic to it, doesn't it, as well?
Yeah, definitely, like very like 70s retro futuristic.
Yeah, so it looks really cool. And then
It does look really cool.
there's another spy who's hunting you during it, who you can also play as.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That kind of somehow went over my head when we were watching it, but you did mention that. It does seem to be the case, which, yeah, I don't know how any of it's going to work, how it's going to like work in practice, but it's some really, really interesting ideas.
It might be a case where you just get to choose one of the 2 protagonists to play, and then you have to hunt the other one. You know, what I think would be really cool though is if they had, I don't know, some sort of multiplayer spy versus spy sort of situation where you can verse each other.
Funny you should say that, actually, because I've just found the part of the press release that goes into it in more detail. So it says, you'll experience Deathloop's main story as Colt, the main character, hunting down targets across the island as you try to break the loop. Meanwhile, another player might temporarily enter your story in the role of Juliana, a rival assassin with her own singular goal, protect the loop by eliminating Colt.
So this is like Dark Souls? It's the Dark Souls of Dishonored.
It is!
So yeah, you just get invaded, I guess. I mean, that's cool. I like the idea of it.
Yeah.
I wish... I don't know. It'd be cool if you... I don't know. How are they going to do that, though? Like, is it like a mode where you get to select, I want to go invade players as this character?
Yeah, so you can decide to suddenly switch into Juliana and go and invade someone's game. And obviously you can switch off the multiplayer invasion elements as well if you don't like it. But I think the idea is, you know, you'll be trying to do your sneaky Dishonored type stuff, and all of a sudden, Juliana will show up, and she's obviously like a sniper sort of character, isn't she? So it puts you in a cat and mouse situation where you're gonna have to adjust your tactics on the fly, because all of a sudden she's gonna have a scope trained on a certain area of the map or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the feeling that I'm getting.
It looked
and it
like
does
she
use the
could be
phrase
there.
cat and mouse.
It looked like she could actually like come into the building. I'm pretty sure at one point she comes in with like submachine guns or something. In the trailer.
Yeah, I think she can. Yeah. I'm not saying that she's just going to be a sniper. I just think that's the marketing is kind of pushing her as someone who can pop up and try and pop you from a distance. But obviously, she can just come up and punch you in the face as well, presumably.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I actually really like the sound of this, and I think this is something I'm gonna have to play as well. I played both Dishonored games on stream as well. I think I definitely played 2, so should be fun. I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see.
I'm just trying to go through all the like big games right now. We can go into like some of the indie stuff, but there was also Resident Evil Village, Resident Evil 8.
Oh yes, Dad bod Chris, can't wait.
Chris is, you know, he's getting old. He's getting on now.
He is. Well, he looks like Chris again, which is nice because it's so bad with 7 when he's showing up and everyone thought that it was an imposter pretending to be Chris.
Oh my god, the fairies that were
Remember
going
that?
around. Yeah.
And Capcom had to come out and be like, no, it is Chris. It really is Chris. We're not messing with you. We just can't remember what his face looks like.
Yeah. I mean, he also like shows up last second as well. You only see him for like a second, so you barely get any interaction with him other than there was the DLC, but you don't really. I know you don't really interact with him. You're playing as him in there.
Yeah, and I think that ending was only there to be a teaser for the DLC anyway, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, and just to be like, look, it's still Resident Evil, guys. Look,
promise.
He's Redfield.
And the ironic thing is, it felt more like Resi before they tied it into the established universe. Because once they brought Chris in, and you had that DLC where you were just running around as Chris with like an assault rifle. Yeah, it felt like Resi 6 again. So
yeah,
it felt more like proper Resident Evil before they did all that.
I'll be honest, the end of Resident Evil 7 got me hyped though, when, you know, he throws down the gun, I picked up the gun, it was called like Albert or something, I was like, oh, like Wesker,
yeah.
And then I was like, and I started shooting, I was like, hell yeah, and he's like, I'm Redfield, and I was like, game's so good. Resident Evil 7 was really good. It was really well done. Because it took like the elements of games like all those like first person games like Outlast and Amnesia, and then they actually gave you a weapon and put you in a Resident Evil world. It was well done.
Yeah. It was like, it did combine like Amnesia and Resident Evil and like PT, and it was the perfect blend. Like they just nailed it.
It did it really well. So Resident Evil 8, werewolves. And witches. So we'll see how that goes.
See how that goes.
We're way too in sync.
We are. What's wrong with us? It's probably because I spend half my week talking to you now.
Yeah. So it's become an issue. We need time apart.
I'm sick of you. You smother me. I'm hyped for Resi 8.
Yeah.
It looks a bit campy, but it's Resident Evil. It's got to be a bit campy. Even 7 was campy.
The camp. Like the dad in 7 was really funny. Like when he gets in the car.
Welcome to the family, boy.
Yeah. And when he just starts getting in the car, going yeehaw and spin him around in circles in the garage, you'll just have a good time. God.
That is a great boss battle. Although that's not as good as the second boss battle with Jack with the chainsaw.
Oh, that's
he's got like the double chainsaw. That looks like the scissors from Clock Tower. Oh, so good.
Yeah,
and I love how you've got to kick the body bags at him, and the way he stumbles because he's coming at you like and then you hit him and he goes stumbles in the most it's just the most unintimidating way ever. It's great. What a game! What a game!
It's just, Resident Evil's just, it's gotten good again. I'm happy. It's been so long.
It's one of my favorite series.
It's honestly become one of mine. Like, I really liked Resident Evil, but like, I'm just like, I'm all in with Resident Evil now. I want more Resident Evil games. Give me more.
Oh, yes.
I'm interested to see how werewolves are going to work, because like in the previous game, everything was really slow, and these werewolves look fast. So,
they do.
And also I'm interested in, like, we're playing Ethan again. I don't know how he's going to be involved. It looks like Chris comes in and is like, well, Mia's dead now because I shot her.
Yeah, and she executes Mia.
Welcome to the team.
This must be the first Resident Evil that's a direct sequel to the one before it. It's the first one where you play as the same character 2 times on a trot. And out of all the Resi characters, they picked Ethan to be the first, and he's like the most boring. Yeah, he's one of those. He's like Master Chief, isn't he? He's not got any personality because he's first
supposed
person.
To be you taking on the role of the protagonist. I guess he has, he's got Mia. Mia's like his only personality trait, and now she's dead.
And then she gets popped in the head. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like she'll get back up. It'll just be like, oh yeah, she's still a zombie, by the way. So welcome to the team. But yeah, it takes place like 2-3 years after, so I don't know when that bit. It looks like that might be the start of the game with him popping Mia. So I don't know when that's gonna take place. I don't know. It's interesting. They also showed off a little bit of they showed like a tiny snippet of gameplay after the fact, and they showed the inventory off and a little bit, but it's the Tetris inventory system. What you'd expect.
Like in 4?
Yeah, like 4. Like it was it not 7 as well? Didn't all have like the Tetris system in 7?
Oh, and I see what you mean. I mean, in the new ones, most items are just one square, but occasionally they take up 2 slots. It's not quite the same as like it is in. I thought you meant it was more like it was in.
Well, I don't know how they're gonna have the items.
It really was.
I don't know if they're gonna have items be like different sizes and stuff, not just have very similar ones. But it looks. I don't know if they described it as Tetris, the Tetris inventory management, but I don't know if there wasn't much more on it other than that, honestly, which is fine. But we'll probably see that come to PC as well. So a lot of these are not exclusive to PlayStation. Though I've heard it might be a timed exclusive. I've heard that. Rumours going around.
Rumour mill, who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
It does look great. I love the like Victorian Gothic aesthetic to it.
Yeah. Listen, I like Castlevania, so you got me in there.
Of course, it's made for you.
But yeah, it reminded me of both of Resident Evil 4 as well, didn't it? It had that like sort of vibe to it.
Yeah. Between the village and the castle, it just had Resi 4 written all over it.
And then we're supposedly getting a Resi 4 remake soon, so we'll see.
That's what I thought it was going to be at first.
Yeah, I think right away I was like, this is Village. Because we'd heard a lot more about Village than the 4 remake. But yeah, other than that, there was a lot of indie titles to look at too. There was Pragmata that was also from Capcom, which was like the Dead Space looking spaceman. We didn't really.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that.
So I've heard that apparently the writers for Dead Space are involved in Pragmata.
Okay.
So apparently our instincts were right in being like, is this Dead Space?
Yeah, it did. It really did look like what's his name? Is it Jacob? Is it in?
Is he called
Dead
Jacob?
Space? It looked like his Isaac. Where'd they get Jacob from? It's called Isaac.
I think there's another character in one of the Dead Space games, isn't there? I think there's like a second character. I think in the third one they introduced another one. I think.
I've got no idea. But yeah, it did look like his suit. Like the helmet looked like his suit.
Was what did it? Yeah. But yeah, we know nothing about that.
That is one of those games which has stolen its aesthetic from Death Stranding. 100%.
How many times will you mention Death Stranding? Can we get a counter? Tef's Death Stranding counter?
I'm not going to apologise, everyone.
Oh. Got now it's... Hang on.
It's just stealing ideas.
Have we lost me or Tef? I think we might have lost me.
Hello, I lost you for a sec.
Oh yeah, we had a dip. Alright, that's...
Dip.
I've frozen on screen now. Wait, what? The cameras are frozen.
Oh no.
Oh, that's awkward. Oh, we're back. Okay, there we go.
Look fine for me, mate. Yeah, okay.
Alright, so... yeah, we can take a look at the indies. We're at an hour 7, by the way. But
okay. Do you want to leave the indies afterwards?
Yeah, I guess we can. We'll take a quick 10-minute break. We can come back and then we'll go over the indies and then the PC gaming show. So still a lot to cover, which is why we would never get into topics, but hey.
That's fine.
It's all good. But yeah, we'll be back in 10 minutes, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. And we're back. We're live again.
Hello!
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 It's
me!
Talking about PlayStation. We're talking about PlayStation games here, Tef, not Nintendo.
No, we're not. It's not about PC games?
No, we're not. We still gotta finish the indie games.
Oh, right. I've closed the article.
That's okay.
So yeah, indie games?
Yeah. So, I mean, we could talk about Bugsnax, which was like the Octodad developers game.
Oh, that was wrecking my head. I couldn't figure out what it was about. Great though.
You eat things and turn into them. You are what you eat. Is pretty much what that game is. That should be the tagline.
That way, basically.
But yeah, I don't know. Man. It's Octodad, so it's gonna be weird and wacky because it's the Octodad devs. I don't know if you ever played Octodad.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
it's absolute insanity.
So it'll be just as silly as that, but that one was really interesting. We'll probably go through these pretty briefly because there's, I mean, not a lot to say, honestly.
No, yeah, there's not really.
There was a Goodbye Volcano High. Oh, that was the dinosaur
I don't
game.
remember all of them.
That was the
That was
dinosaur.
on with the awful artwork. Yeah.
Let's be nice, Tef.
No, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it.
It was the dinosaur game for like angsty teens. So
Yeah.
it was Life is Strange
Yeah.
meets dinosaurs. A dinosaur visual
Life
novel.
is scaly.
Because yeah,
Weird, man. Weird.
because you know, I think there's like a meteor coming down to like kill all the dinosaurs. I think that's like the plot. It's very Life is Strange.
Really, is
isn't
Life
it?
is Strange then, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah.
it's very similar
Weird.
in that regard. But yeah, that was Goodbye Volcano High. Probably not gonna play that.
Moving swiftly on.
Yeah, there was then Jet the Far Shore, which was that weird space exploration game.
Yeah. That was very weird.
You were comparing it to something. I forgot what you compared it to at the time. Because I don't know if I played it.
I think I think it was Outer Wilds, which is not
Yeah.
Outer Worlds. Outer
Yeah,
Worlds
'cause
is
that's
the yeah. Outer Worlds is the Fallout knockoff. Outer Wilds is a fairly short, like really cool indie game which came out like about a year ago, and it's won like loads of awards. It's really good because it's basically the idea is you're like setting off from your planet to
No Man's Sky.
yeah, well, it's a little bit like No Man's Sky. Like it's like you're setting off from your planet as like an astronaut, and some people have already gone out before you, and basically you go out there, and there's a whole bunch of planets, and you just like explore them in a random order, and there's just all like there's all things
Past
to
technology
explore and
remaining
learn,
with-
and like just things to explore and like mysteries to solve. There's all kinds of
Kind
mysteries
of reminds me of like
old,
Subnautica, but in space.
a little bit, but it's got a nice twist to it in that every 20 minutes the sun goes supernova and kills you, and it restarts. There's like a time loop. You're trapped in a time loop, so every time you wake
A
up, you
death loop.
get on the ship and you go out again, or a death loop. So you've just got to keep going out and go into different parts of the solar system and finding out basically what's going on and learning more about these ancient civilizations in order to find out why you're trapped in this loop. And you can go to them in any order. So you've basically got to piece together the mystery yourself, and the game kind of creates like a little conspiracy board for you. Like any information that you find, it notes down in a journal, and it creates little links between things for you to make it a little bit easier for you to figure it out. But you've basically got to go and find everything yourself and then piece the story together. It's really cool. It's really, really good, and it kind of reminded me of that.
I
don't
didn't really
know.
see gameplay. It looked like you only saw the ship, though. It wasn't like a first-person perspective thing, was it?
Yeah, it was very unclear. Just from like a just kind of, I guess, mostly visually, and in some regards to how it seemed to play. From what we did see, it looked a little bit like that, where it was kind of about exploration, but we don't know much more about it, do we?
Yeah.
It's very vague. Even the press release on the PlayStation blog is very vague. It just says a cinematic action adventure.
It
about
says
an
it's
interstellar
narrative.
trip.
It says it's narrative driven though, so I feel like it's gonna be more of a like. It's gonna be a bit more linear than that. It's not gonna have this like mystery that you're going out and solving. I feel like it's gonna be just a story that's told. That just takes you on that journey. It is by Super Brothers, which Super Brothers. What did they make? I'm sure I've heard the name before. Sword and Sorcery. Okay, I've heard that.
Yeah, that name rings a bell, but
I don't know what else they've made, but it's interesting anyway. We'll see what it turns into in the end. But other than that, there was also Kenna, Bridge of Spirits from Ember Lab, which looked like a Pixar film.
yes,
That one
was
looked really cool.
It looked really cool. And I know I said this loads when we were watching it on Twitch, but this is the only game that actually wowed me from a graphical perspective, because it really looks like a Pixar film. And considering those films, every frame is meant to take a few hours to render, it looks on par with a Pixar film. It looks fantastic. So I was really impressed.
Look really cool. What was it? It was It's basically, I forgot the name. It's like, I don't know, like an action game mixed with, what's the Lemmings? Not Lemmings. What are they called? Nintendo.
Oh, Pikmin.
Pikmin.
Yeah, they did have a little bit of Pikmin to it.
I couldn't remember the name for some reason, but yeah, it's like an action sort of game meets Pikmin. Got like it's got dodge rolls. You've got like a bow you can use. It's interesting. I want to know what it's going to be like. That's definitely one I'm thinking I have to try.
Yeah, that one I'm going to keep an eye on, definitely. I've just looked about Outer Wilds, by the way. It's not out on PC yet, which is probably why you don't know much about it. It doesn't come out until 18th of June, actually, so that comes out in 3 days.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. I would recommend it to everyone if you're into that sort of gameplay that I described earlier. Just a really, really cool game. Won loads of awards.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a look at some point. I don't know if I'll look at it when it comes out, but I'll have to keep that one in mind, you know?
Be a great game to stream.
Yeah, I've got a lot on like a list that I need to go for at some point. I just need to, have the time and money for it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's fairly sure to be a great game to stream as well, because you can even have people helping you a little bit, because it's figuring out those puzzles, especially when you're being timed, can be a bit stressful sometimes.
I feel like Twitch chat just confuses me more. When Twitch chat tell me what to do, I'm like, listen guys, this is just making me more confused. That's the way it goes. But yeah, that's Kenna anyway. Kenna's I know, I'm looking forward to that. Other than that, we also had Little Devil Inside, which looked really cool as well, actually. That was one where it was like the art style and stuff stood out as being just very interesting. It's so it seems to be this like expedition that you go on. You're on this like adventure going through these different places. I don't know, you look like you're some sort of Tomb Raider. you look like, your typical adventurer going around. But you fight a dragon as well at some points.
It's got a lot going on, really, hasn't it? Like,
yeah.
there's parts where he's kind of being chased by kind of humanoid enemies, but then there's parts where he's just wading through swamps. There's one part that goes a bit Shadow of the Colossus where he's climbing up the back of a huge enemy. It's just a general adventure style, isn't it, I guess?
Yeah, it looks cool. And then there's also like the butler that it switches back to as well, who was taking a poop.
I wonder if he's going to factor into the gameplay in any way, or whether he's just part of the story. I
feel like he's got to be part of the story. Maybe it'll like switch back to him at certain points, and you go experience like a little bit of his life. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. It gave me the impression in the trailer that he's going to be part of the actual gameplay. Yeah,
I mean, I feel like the story will switch back between the two of them, maybe, because I think they're separate characters. I think they're in a scene together at the start, aren't they?
Are they?
I think.
Yes, they are. They are. Yeah, I can see it.
Because otherwise, my impression would be this would be him when he's older, but it's not. They're definitely different characters. But
and they're in such different worlds too, because he's kind of out in the wilds, in deserts and woods and things like that, and then it jumps back to this butler who's in a very Victorian town.
Yeah.
It's very urban.
It's interesting. So it does have this like Victorian sort of aesthetic to it when it's over there, and then he's off fighting dragons and stuff like that, and tribes, which I mean, we can mention
that's getting changed.
Yeah, that's getting changed. There was I don't know. There was a tweet out about one part of it being like the model design being slightly racist to one of them, so they responded to that and making changes to it. I feel like we don't have a lot to say on that, but that's being changed.
Really? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that at the time when I was watching it. It just looks really cool.
I think I spotted it, to be honest.
No,
because it's one of those trailers where there's lots of very short shots. So like certain ones I remember, certain ones kind of went right over my head. I might have been too busy making some smarmy comments.
Yeah, I know.
One part I do.
Go on.
I was just going to say this. One part that stuck out to me was where he's sliding down a sand hill on what looks like he's just stood on a penguin or something. It's so weird. He's just like, and then they're just face down in the sand.
A cult or something. It looks like a cultist that he's riding or something. I think. You might need to pull up the images. That's how
I'm looking at it now. It's very weird. I can't figure out what it is, but it's definitely some sort of a live being that he's riding on the back of with its face dragging through the sand.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be a goofy adventure game, and I'm all about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nothing wrong with that.
Who's that actually by? It's by Neostream Interactive, and I don't know who they are at all. I've got no idea. It might be one of their first games, because it is an indie dev. Hold on, let me actually look at
their website is just a big plug for Little Devil Inside, so I think it could be their first game.
Yeah, looks like it. I mean, could be devs from other places, but seems to be.
No, this is the first game. I think.
All right.
Okay. This is kind of sorry. Just before we go on, I've noticed this is a recurring theme actually with these teams as we've been looking them up. They're a company that have been going for a long time, since 1998, but they've always just been kind of creating assets or helping other bigger developers develop things.
Okay, yeah.
And it seems like Sony is funding a lot of companies to let them make their own creative projects for the first time, which I think is really cool.
Yeah,
good on them for that.
Yeah, I feel like it was a thing with the last generation. When the last generation was like announced, they started to lean more into indie games a lot back then. Because that's when they got a lot more popular. And it was a very, it's a good PR move to be like, hey, we're helping indie devs too.
Yeah, that's it. It looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah. But next we also have Oddworld, which you can probably talk about. I can probably leave Oddworld to you.
Yeah, I love Oddworld. I've grown up with the Oddworld games.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was I think this was the first time a Soulstorm's being shown at a big event. I've had a lot of people messaging me thinking that this was a new announcement, because this is the first time it's been shown off at a big main event like this.
Get in touch with me like, oh, Oddworld? You like Oddworld, right?
I think everyone just knows I'm a massive Oddworld nerd.
Yeah.
And it was Ziff messaged me thinking that it was brand new, and I mean, I follow Oddworld Inhabitants very closely on social media anyway, so I've been following the development of this. This has been in development for 3 or 4 years now, and they've been teasing stuff for a long time. There's actually gameplay's been shown before, way more gameplay than we saw at the PlayStation conference, but it looks cool. It's a remake of the second Abe game, which was basically the original second Abe game was basically a remake of the first one. It was very, very similar. It just had some new features and some quality of life improvements, and even had a very similar story. It was kind of like a spiritual remake, if that's the thing, of the first one. And obviously they've actually remade the first game properly with the new and tasty that they made like 5 years ago. So for remaking the second one, they thought this time we're just going to go in a completely different direction and do something totally new. And some of it looks cool, some of it I'm not so sure about. There's crafting in it, if I remember correctly, from one of the gameplay trailers. So it's very different and very modern.
Looks very dramatic as well.
Yeah, it's got a whole different tone from the old Oddworld games, definitely, because it's definitely leaning into this like big dramatic, kind of dark themed storyline, where Oddworld was always a game with a very like dark sense of humor, really. And even though to look at it seemed really gritty to look at, but yeah, the second you see anything in motion, it was just really goofy and silly.
Yeah.
But Soulstorm's definitely not like that. Soulstorm's leaning into the heavier side of it, because Oddworld's the story is actually really grim. It's a game about companies basically running the planet into the ground. That's what the whole universe is about. So it's got that potential to be really grim. Yeah. Like Soulstorm's really leaning into that though, and really just seems really gritty in comparison to the other ones. But we'll have to see how it goes. It's just so different from other Oddworld games in the past.
All right, well, fair enough. I've got not a lot to say on Oddworld because I've never really played the Oddworld series. It's not been a big thing for me like it has for you.
Well, we know what we're playing on Thursdays then.
Oh, we've already kind of got one ready. We've already decided on one, haven't we?
We have. But we can add Oddworld to the list, man. You need to play it.
All right, fair enough. We can throw that on. I feel like once we play the game we're going to play on Thursday, though, I'm going to want to play the whole series.
Oh, I don't know about that. You can play the second one, because the second one's hard, and I'm not doing that while I'm streaming the game.
Yeah, the second one is rather difficult, but hey, the second one, I feel like I really like the second one, but I don't remember it as well. I feel like that's something I'm very nostalgic about, the second one, compared to the first one. I've played the first a few times.
Yeah, first one's nice and short too. You can get through it in a couple of hours, really.
The second one, I think my disc broke at one point, and then I just stopped playing. Just didn't play it again. Sad times.
Very sad.
Yeah. But
no one knows what to talk about because we won't say what the game is. You can come back on Thursday for that full discussion.
Yeah. You'll get to watch the game in action on Thursday. We're just teasing it right now. But next we've got The Pathless. I don't remember which one The Pathless was, actually. From Giant Squid.
Nope.
Actually, don't remember this one. Hold on, let me double check. The Pathless was... I don't even remember seeing this game.
I don't.
This was on the
I
list.
really don't remember this one at all.
No.
Yeah, it is on the list, but...
This
I don't
wasn't
remember
in
this
there.
at all.
This is a lie. What's this in here?
That's so I really don't remember that at all.
We streamed it.
There it is in the press release. It's going on. It's going on about how it's doing what only the PS5 can do. No load screens. Only the PS5 can do that.
Only the PS5 is capable of that with its massive SSDs.
I mean, it's true in a way though, because I think for a little while the PS5 is going to have an advantage over PC game in there until everyone is using SSDs and only SSDs. PS5 is definitely going to have an advantage there. It might just be that suits the PS5. Yeah. Well, that's not tough though, is it really?
No.
I think we're probably going to see. I think as soon as the PS5 comes out, it's suddenly going to be a system requirement to have your game installed on an SSD. Which, you know, annoying for me. I've just bought a 2 terabyte hard disk drive, but I guess soon I won't be able to put any games on that. I have to put all my games on an SSD.
I feel like it's going to be a while though. It's going to take time.
Well, no, you see, you're saying that, but if PC gaming wants to keep up with consoles, they're going to have to demand SSDs because otherwise.
I know, but it's just let's hope it's a while because I don't have the money for that. I mean, saying that though, it should get cheaper. It should, but we'll see.
SSDs are fairly cheap now. They're not that much more expensive than hard drives anymore.
Yeah, but it should get even cheaper because I mean that's what's the law? There's a law where not like an actual like.
Law?
I think it is Moore's law. I was about to say not the legal kind. I should know this because I did computer science and we spoke about this. I think it is Moore's law, but you know.
I think it is, yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully that'll get cheaper. But I mean, it's Pathless. Know nothing about it. I feel like it's the first time I've seen it.
You see, me too. Was it there? I feel like it wasn't there.
I feel
like they've just thrown that into the press release there, but that wasn't at the show. I'm sure.
I don't know. I genuinely don't think I've seen this game before. Should we move on? Because I've got no idea what that game's about. So
swiftly.
Then we also had Stray, which was really early on in the show. Which oh yeah.
This game looks gorgeous. Before we even talk about the cat, can we talk about how great this game looks?
It does look really cool.
I love the neon, like Neo Tokyo aesthetic. Oh, it's great. This has apparently been known about for a while too. Like it was called Stray. I don't think it was called Stray before. On the press release, it actually says it used to be called. It was going by the working title of HK Project for quite some time.
HK Project,
but it's been shown before apparently. But it looks like it's coming out soon now, so it looks cool. The trailer didn't go much into the gameplay, and just going through the press release now, I'm not seeing much about.
Well, it's Death Stranding, but you're a cat.
Either. Probably, yep. Pretty much.
But yeah, it looks really cool. I like the whole like post-apocalyptic sort of Neo Tokyo. All the inhabitants are robots, and you're just like a cat. I don't know if there's got to be more animals, right? You can't be the only cat in the world. Maybe you have to make deliveries to other cats. Cats are like the form, like they're the post now. You just send cats places. It is Death Stranding, but you're a cat.
I don't think delivering things is going to be the main like gameplay loop. I think that was just what they used to show off. I mean, yeah, but I don't know. Like the press release is so vague. It just says it's like a exploration and puzzle solving game, but also has fast-paced action sequences. It's just going to be a bit of everything, isn't it? It's going to be an excuse to play as a cat, which is all the internet needs to buy that game.
Yeah,
let's be real.
You just put a cat in a game, the internet's like, oh. But will the cat die at the end? That's the question.
Oh god, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. Oof.
The cat in the end it'll get killed by a robot. A robot's gonna stomp on it. That'll be the end. Very sad times.
oh, very sad.
But yeah, the last indie game we can go over is Solar Ash, which is rather exciting because it's from the guys who made Hyper Light Drifter. So I don't know if you remember this one, but visually it looked really nice, and it looked like movement wise it looked really cool as well. So I got no idea how it's gonna play other than that, but it looks cool. It's Hyper Light Drifter guys, so it's probably gonna be a really good game.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on this one just because I never played Hyper Light Drifter, but it did look very fluid, and the art style's great, just like it is in Hyper Light Drifter, because I know what it looks like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just looks really cool. Again, it doesn't talk much about what the gameplay actually involves. It just says you're going to be slaying massive monsters and meeting other lost souls, whatever that means.
It's probably going to be like a lot of fighting. I don't know if the combat's going to be like. I assume it's going to be melee. I don't know why melee is. But I feel like there might be ranged as well. I don't know. We'll see. It's probably going to be different things you get throughout the game to use. It looks cool. We can say that much. But that's all we really know. Cool. So that's the PS5 show.
There's one more thing actually.
It's not.
Yeah. It's not bullet pointed in their press release. It's kind of just thrown into into like the introduction paragraph, which is probably why you've forgotten about it. But Bluepoint are remaking Demon's Souls. I don't know if you want to talk about that because you're a Souls kind of guy.
You know what? We forgot a few things actually. We did actually. I forgot about Spider-Man, and there was also Horizon.
Ratchet and Clank and Horizon. Yeah.
God, we forgot so many.
We did. I mean, yeah. I haven't got anything to say about Horizon because I really don't.
I don't know much about it, but a lot of people are excited. That's all I know.
Yeah, there's big hype for it. Yeah, I personally, it doesn't look like anything that's going to interest me. To me, it just looks like a bog standard 3D game. Maybe it probably just does what it does very well, but I've got no interest in playing it. So
I'll probably play the first Horizon at some point. I've just got to get around to it. But yeah, Demon's Souls remake. Very excited for that. That's probably going to come to PC as well. So
I don't know.
Oh, actually, you know what? It could just be a PlayStation exclusive. Now that I think about it,
I think Bluepoint tend to only release on PlayStation. There might even be a Sony studio, because they're really good at what they do. I don't know how much you know about Bluepoint. They remaster games, or sometimes kind of remake games, but like they're fantastic at it.
Bluepoint. What else? Hold on, there's something else Bluepoint did. I'm trying to remember.
They did the Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Yeah. Bluepoint Games. Yeah, so they did the Uncharted. Yeah, they did a lot. Metal Gear. Yeah, they did a lot. Okay. I'm sure there was something else. Can't remember. No, it's fine. It doesn't matter. But yeah, I'm excited about it. Some people were actually a little upset with the Demon's Souls remake. They think it's like it looks too clean. It doesn't look as like gritty and dark.
It's got a slightly like brighter, more colourful colour palette, but
like I think there's.
I like that though.
Yeah, someone showed off like an image where in the original game the castle was a bit more deteriorated than the other one. It was like there were like banners on the walls and stuff, and it was a lot more pristine. Which I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care. It's gonna be good.
Honestly, we've seen enough dark, gritty, gothic, like Dark Souls and Bloodborne games. Like, I think it's good if they give it a slightly different identity. That can't hurt it.
Yeah,
in my mind.
But yeah, that's all I really got to say on Demon's Souls. Looking forward to it. Probably gonna play it. But yeah, also let's quickly go over Spider-Man as well because we missed that. That was really early in the show too, actually. Yeah, Spider-Man's coming out. It's. Did you see the whole mess with the Spider-Man game?
No one knew whether it was expansion or not, did they?
I thought that when it first came up. I was like, is this a DLC? But I didn't say anything. And then apparently, I think a CEO or something, or like an executive on the team was like, well, it said they worded it in a really strange way, so it sounded like it was an expansion. And they have to come out and clarify and be like, no, this is a standalone game. But it's going to be like a shorter standalone game or something.
Yeah, it's a standalone expansion. It's like Expandalone, isn't it? It's one of those games. It's just going to be the same engine, probably more or less the same game, just new
Plays
character,
Miles.
new story. Plays Miles, can't go wrong with that.
Yeah, because they introduced Miles in the first one, and at the very end of the first game, spoiler, he has powers. He has powers too, and then Peter's like, "Whoa!" But yeah, by the way, Peter Parker, Spider-Man. Spoilers, throwing those out there. But yeah, so that'll be cool because I mean it's Miles. Miles is cool. He's got the really cool suit as well.
Yeah, it looks like good fun. The Spider-Man game's good, so you can't go wrong with that.
Definitely. But
yeah.
I guess we'll move on to the PC gaming show. We are at an hour and 50 minutes almost.
Really?
Yeah, we went on a lot.
Okay, well, there's not much to talk about at the PC gaming show anyway.
I really want to. There's some bits where I think I can go on, but
Yeah. So tell me about these. You said you were talking like before we started about certain people who were presenting it, who apparently were a bit of a cringe fest, and I need to know more about this.
Like, I mean, it was Day 9 was presenting. Day 9 is fine. I think it was just like they were given like a script to go through and stuff because it's all like pre-recorded. I think it was all pre-recorded. But it was just, they had a robot there that was just there to stall and take up time, and it was really annoying. It would be like, it would cut back, like they had this whole intro for the robot in like the middle of the Nevada desert or something, driving out the back of a van and driving towards the building for the show. And then they go on in, and then every now and then it comes back to the robot making a joke, being like, haha guys, aren't I so funny, robot? I am robot, I am funny. And then it's like, oh whatever your name bot is, Stolios, everyone was calling him.
I see him. I've got the show open now. He is pointless. Why is he there?
I don't know.
He is just a bump in between sections, essentially, isn't he?
Yeah.
Very weird.
It was I don't know, it was a bit of a messy show. It was what we wanted to riff on when we went to the PlayStation 1. The PlayStation 1 was super clean though. It was trailer, executive or dev talks about it, trailer, and they just kept going. It was really good.
Yeah, none of this cringy gamer stuff, which, it's probably bad for us because we were streaming it on Twitch and thought we'd have good banter, but it turned out to just be really kind of dull. There wasn't much for us to say about it. Whereas this looks like it was just really, really embarrassing. Yeah. I'm just skipping through and just keep getting freeze frames of people that just look like they don't want to be there.
So, I mean, like, it felt a bit more... It felt a lot less professional. Like, they had moments where they pulled devs on that were just, like, sitting in the home as well, and that was fine. Because obviously with the state of things, that's fine, that's cool. They can do that. But, I don't know, it was a bit messy. And then they had... So, to start off, let me go through my list of what I've got. I mean, an Elite Dangerous expansion was announced. I'm trying to go through, like, the important details that came out of this. Elite Dangerous expansion was announced, which is cool. I've not really played Elite Dangerous, but it looks good. Then we had... the stream got interrupted and hijacked. There was a whole, like, thing they did with that, where Greg Miller comes on to talk about Persona 4 Golden, because he's a big Persona nerd. So they pulled him in for that. So, I mean, I'm fine with Greg Miller, but like, they didn't need to do the whole, oh no, our stream's being hijacked.
Just gaming shows somehow, I don't know how they manage it, because they're like, gaming is like the least boomer thing ever, but gaming conferences they always have massive boomer energy. I don't know how they pull it off, man.
I don't know. It's like they've got good people on there as well. They got Day 9. They got Greg Miller on. These are all, like, people who've been in the industry for a good while. So
yeah, respectable people.
Yeah, it's just just a bit silly. I guess they were having fun with it, at least, But so Elite Dangerous Golden. Do you want to talk about Persona 4 Golden now that we're on it?
Oh god, right. I mean, have we got like 45 minutes to kill? I mean, it's just a really good game, and I think everyone who's a PC gamer, I assume most of the people who follow you are PC gamers primarily, and if you've not played Persona, you need to get on this one. Persona 4 Golden is one of the best ones. 4 and 5 are just fantastic, and I've never played Golden before because it was only on the beta before now for some reason. But give it a go if you like JRPGs. It's one of the best ones. It's like I think it's probably the best JRPG series. Honestly, it's so well designed. The battle system is so great in how it's designed. It makes you plan ahead, and you have to think about what you're doing. And well, you don't have to. It's not that it's particularly difficult. It's just more one of those games where if you do plan ahead, you can pull off really cool moves, and it just feels really satisfying. Because the game's kind of about it's all really about the battle system in Persona, because it's designed in such a way where if you know the enemy's weaknesses, you can go in, cast the spells that will hit their weaknesses, and when you like hit a weakness, it stuns an enemy. And if you get them all stunned in one go, then you do this all-out attack where you basically just like Zerg rush the enemies, and you usually kill them in one go by doing that. So if you know the enemies well, you can just you can jump into a battle and have it done in like 20 seconds. And the game's designed around that. Like if you get hit, you lose a lot of health in Persona, because if you're playing well, you won't get hit. If you know how to play the game properly, you'll be able to kill everything really quickly, or at least, or if it's a more difficult enemy, you'll be able to get the status effects in quickly so that you don't get hit. So you're very fleshy, and it's really different from most RPGs, and it's just really good. It's really satisfying when you learn how to use that system properly.
Yeah, I mean, I've always heard good things about Persona 4. Everyone, whenever I heard about Persona 4, everyone's like, play Persona 4 Golden. And I was like...
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to try it at some point, especially now that it's on PC. But, yeah, it looks cool. I'll see what it's like, because apparently there's, like, relationships and stuff you have to also progress in the game, isn't there? There's, like, a lot of that stuff as well on the side.
Yeah, so it's half dungeon crawler, half, like, life simulator sort of thing.
You in school?
Like, yeah. You have to go to school, and you have to like study and make friends and stuff like that, and all that stuff will help you in the dungeon crawling. It'll boost your stats, but it'll also unlock like new abilities that you can take into the dungeon crawling. But it's not just about that. Like the writing's really good in Persona, especially for so the friendships usually have really good side stories, and they sometimes get like sometimes some of them are really funny, some of them are really heavy. They're kind of like the side stories in Yakuza, but they're more fleshed out because there's usually like 5 or 6 stages to them.
Are they less
You'll
silly
come back
though?
to people. Oh yeah, they're not as silly as Yakuza.
Okay. I'd like a Yakuza style game like that, where it's like Kiryu goes to high school.
Imagine. No, it's not as funny as Yakuza, because like Yakuza's just insane. Persona is funny occasionally, but tends to be quite heavy as well. It deals with some really serious topics. 4 deals with a lot of like mental health and stuff like that, and then 5 is kind of it is because it 4 is all about delving into people's inner like feelings. Because the whole idea of 4 is every dungeon is you're dealing with the dark side of one of your party members. Like you'll get a new person, they'll join you in the party, and then you run through this dungeon which is like controlled by their shadow form, which is basically their dark thoughts, or like the bad parts of their personality that they don't want to think about. So it's really about how people have 2 faces, and there's like the nice side that you put out in public, and then everyone's got a darker side, you know. So it's really about mental health. It's 4 is really well written, and it's just fun. It's a really good game.
Yeah.
Both sides are really fun. Like the visual novel kind of life sim side and the dungeon crawling side are both brilliant.
That's what I'm gonna have to try at some point. I'm just gonna have to get into it. But yeah, I'm gonna cut you off there before you go on about Persona, because I know you're a big Persona nerd.
It's great. It's a great game. Play it now, everyone. Play it now.
But
put 10 hours into it already. Came out like a day and a half ago.
Yeah, I've heard that game. You just sit down, and time flies by.
It does.
But yeah, let's move on. I'm gonna stop you right there. I could tell you're gonna go in on Persona more there. That's fine.
No. We good. That's all I've got to say about it, really. Because I can't say anything else without spoiling it. So
yeah, okay. So next we've got a big thing is Dean Rocket Grenade Hall has announced his new game because his newer dev team is called Rocketworks. So he's announced a new game. It's basically Rust meets Escape from Tarkov, but in space. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. So it's called Icarus is the name of it.
Right. So he's just retreading old ground, basically.
Yeah, so this is the guy who made DayZ. He's the guy behind DayZ. And he basically, pioneered the sort of survival battle royale genre with DayZ, I guess. So a lot of people, he's a big name in that. But the thing is...
DayZ's got a bad rep these days, though, hasn't it?
Yeah, so back in 2014, I want to say, Dean left. He left the company working on, or the dev team working on DayZ, and sort of just abandoned it, and so DayZ kind of was unfinished. And
I remember all that. Yeah. In
the interview, he said one of his lines was, "I'm a grenade," which is where that comes from. I don't know why I remember that, but he just, for some reason, he described himself as a grenade. If he stays too long, he'll ruin everything, so we have to move on to other projects. So the big worry for this is it's going to be left unfinished, much like DayZ. But yeah, it looks like Rust but space, and then there's this mention of you drop in and missions only last a certain amount of time. Like you can have missions that last 20 minutes or drop. He said it's drops that last a certain amount of time. I'm not exactly sure what that means, but it sounds a lot like Escape from Tarkov in the idea that you go into Escape from Tarkov and you're timed. It's timed. You go in, you've got an objective or stuff you've got to do, and then you get back out within the time limit. I think that's how it works. I actually really wanted to play Escape from Tarkov a long time ago, but never had anyone to play it with, so never got into it. But
I've never don't know much about it at all.
I mean, Escape from Tarkov's cool. I don't know what this is going to be, though. Again, I'm looking at one of the screenshots. It looks very much like Rust in the screenshots. It
does actually. I mean, will it even be good? That's the other thing. It's the grenade. You might get bored of working on it before it's finished.
Dean Rocket, I'm a grenade hall. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. It's again, I think a lot of people are, they're kind of expecting a lot from it, but they're also at the same time being like, he might just abandon it. There's two sides of it, and I think he could do something really good because, he did some good stuff with DayZ until he then abandoned it. So who knows?
Yeah, if he sticks with it, then maybe it will be good. Because I mean, DayZ was literally industry changing while he was at the helm. So
I remember playing the mod for that back in the day. I was actually going to make a YouTube series on the mod back in the day. I had a whole idea. I had a whole idea for it. I was going to play out a certain segment and then have a little journal that would pop up on the screen and sort of write in the day, and sort of I'd describe the day as I went of what happened. I thought that'd be a really fun thing to do, but never ended up doing it. So yeah,
great story. Everyone wanted to do some sort of YouTube series on DayZ. It was so big at the time.
It was a lot of fun. I played it once with Ziff, I think, and then Ziff never played it again. But
Ziff never change.
Yeah, but ever reliable. But
what else was at the PC Gaming Show?
We also had the Mafia PC re-releases coming, and they're gonna have a Mafia 1 remaster for it. So
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah,
I've never played Mafia. Always wanted to though.
Yeah, I really want to give at least the first one a go. The third one, not so much. We can forget that one exists.
Yeah. We'll talk about that one.
We'll cut that one out. But yeah, that I mean, that's interesting. I don't know what Mafia's like, because again, I never really played it, so I'm just intrigued. It looks like it'll be fun.
It's more of a simulator, isn't it, from what I've heard?
I have no idea, honestly.
My understanding is that it's more of a crime sim than a open world sort of sandbox. It's not a GTA clone. That's my understanding of it.
I mean, I've only heard good things about the, original Mafia, so we'll see. But yeah, also we've got Remnant from the Ashes Subject 2923 coming out, which is Dark Souls, basically. So I think it was like a very clunky Dark Souls. The first one was called Remnant from the Ashes. This one is Remnant from the Ashes, Subject 2923. I don't know whether this is a DLC or just a second game. I'm pretty sure it's the second game, but they're terrible at naming.
It's got 2 subtitles.
Yeah. I was looking at it then, it was bothering me.
Yeah, it hurts to look at. There's 2 colons in the name. It's like Remnants colon from the Ashes colon Subject 2923.
Oh, it's it's weird.
It certainly looks like a game.
Yeah, it's Dark Souls. It's like a clunky Dark Souls. I forget who publishes it, but it's one of those publishers that publishes a lot of like kind of clunky. I think it is.
It's Perfect World Entertainment. Apparently, I have no idea who they are. Oh, they publish Torchlight.
Yeah, so okay. They publish a lot of like they do also publish like a lot of clunky sort of it's not like AAA games, but it's like the non-indie. They publish a lot of games like that.
I'm seeing a lot of games where I recognize the name, but I only know them as mediocre games like Champions Online and Neverwinter.
Yeah. So speaking of Torchlight, actually, Torchlight 3 is coming out. Well, actually, it's out. You can play it in early access right now.
Ah,
that was a big theme.
Right, sorry. It's Torchlight 3 actually that they published, not Torchlight 2. I misread that.
So, yeah, a common theme in this game show was like, Anna. So here's this game, and you can play it right now, early access. So they were just throwing that out.
Have you seen the Steam reviews for Torchlight 3?
No, I have not looked at it.
Mostly negative. One person says this is barely Torchlight.
I mean, it's early access. I don't know why they threw it out this early. I mean, I imagine it's not even close. But it's
but people are saying it's kind of dumbed down mobile type game.
Oh,
yeah.
That's kind of upsetting. Honestly, I feel like a Torchlight game at this point is too late because Path of Exile is just
you don't need anything else at this point, do we?
Yeah, I mean, Path of Exile's getting like big updates all the time. It's got a expansion on the way as well. So
we should play more of that. When that first came out, me and you played that, and we really enjoyed it. But like, we didn't put as much time into it as you should have done, really.
Yeah, I've played. My problem with Path of Exile now is I've played the first 3 acts of that game like 10 times.
Oh right.
Yeah, so there were only 3 acts back in the day, but now there's like 14 or something. So there's like 11 more chapters to the game that you can play. Which is, I'd like to play them.
You've got to play them in order.
You've got to play them in order, yeah.
Mm.
So I've got like several characters now that are all in like Act 3 and one's in Act 4. Because I played a little bit of it on stream not long ago. I don't know when I played it. It wasn't that long ago though. Might have been a bit before I started pulling you on streams.
Not sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been here for a couple of months now, so.
Yeah. Path of Exile streams. I mean, I'd love to do more Path of Exile. It's a really good game. My biggest issue with it actually is internet, because it's very reliant on your connection. Because if you start lagging, you lag the game, and hardcore mode goes very wrong. I've lost the character because I started lagging, and all of a sudden it cuts back and my character's dead, and I'm like,
really not the game for you then.
Yeah, but I also really like hardcore games where you lose your character when you die. I love stuff like that.
Oh, it's not for me. It's not for me. I'm just a nervous wreck.
Yeah, I've said this for ages, but I always want like an MMO where it's like you can only have one account ever. When you go and you get the one character, you die and that's it. You could never play again. I realize it's not a feasible concept, but it would be so cool. You meet this party of people and you're like, oh look, and these all become like your friends, and then they die. You can't communicate outside the game. They're gone. You don't even know who this person is. They don't exist anymore. That'd be so good. I don't know.
Sounds depressing as hell, man. That'd give me an existential crisis, personally.
Yeah, I just like the idea of you'll never know who this person is, and they're gone. They're gone forever.
I like it.
Alright, moving on. We got a new Dauntless expansion. Dauntless, for those of you that don't know, is like a free-to-play Monster Hunter, basically.
Okay.
It's cool. I don't know if the
Is it getting good?
It was fun. I enjoyed it. It had an issue where it felt very it didn't feel as in depth as Monster Hunter, so it felt very samey each time you went in. But they do have like a variety of monsters, variety of weapons and stuff. So it's, if you want a free-to-play Monster Hunter, it's there. So it's cool. We also had a PC port of Shadow Man. Yes, the 1999 N64 game. Because why not?
Who asked for this?
I don't know. I don't even think it looks that much better. I think they just like re-released it. I don't know if they updated the graphics.
It's so strange. I remember growing up, Shadow Man was everywhere for some reason. Like the marketing for that game got everywhere, and it stuck with me because the character design is so weird. But no one ever spoke about the game. It was more just how weird it looked.
Yeah, it was a cult classic though, wasn't it, for a lot of people?
See, I didn't even know it was, to be honest.
I think it was. I'm just like looking at the trailer though. It doesn't look like they've updated the graphics at all. It looks exactly the same.
Exactly the same. Yeah.
So it's just a re-release.
It's just an HD now, I guess.
Yeah. So there you go. Shadow Man, for all you Shadow Man fans out there in the chat, which there's none because you're all Zoomers. Also, we had Mortal Shell, which is just Dark Souls. If you want to look up Mortal Shell, you will see it's just Dark Souls.
Not just Dark Souls knockoffs around these days.
I mean,
yeah, that is Dark Souls. That really is Dark Souls.
Who's this published by, actually? Publisher Playstack.
Looking up publishers, the podcast.
I don't know. Hey, you know, you gotta know these things. They've not published a lot of. They publish Snipers. These all look like mobile games.
Playstack.
So this is actually a game that is apparently coming to PS4 and Xbox One as well.
Okay.
But it's also coming to PC. It's going to be an Epic Games Store timed exclusive. Because of course it is. So, I mean, there you go. But
well,
go on.
I can tell you, looking at the game on Steam, this is the first game that Playstack have published on Steam, and the first game that Cold Symmetry have developed and released on Steam. So, definitely not a PC gaming company.
Yeah, I feel like it's gonna be another sort of remnant from the Ash. It's gonna be a very clunky Dark Souls clone from the looks of things. Looks cool. We got that going for it. We'll move on from that because I mean it's Dark Souls. What else is there to say? I mean, I like Dark Souls, but you know, I like a good Dark Souls. I'm not really that
bothered about Dark Souls. So
yeah. Then we had Weird West, which is being published by Devolver Digital. Devolver Digital are also doing a conference next month, I think, so we could always watch that because they're always wacky. It'll be like a 20-minute one, I imagine, but it's also really wacky, so it'll be fun. We'll see who they kill during that conference. So I'm pretty sure they like cut off someone's arm in the last one they did, or something, or they put them in like a grinder. Good times.
They're great. They're so weird. It's great. This game just looks okay, I guess.
So, one thing to note is this is by the co-creators of Dishonored and Prey.
Huh.
So, that's what makes it more interesting for me. It looks kind of like just it gave me like an ARPG sort of, an old ARPG sort of vibe. But apparently they said it's very similar to they spoke about how it was similar to Dishonored, which I don't get. I don't understand that part.
It's described as an immersive sim, and actually, if on the Steam page there are you can see stats and gear pages, which do look very immersive sim. So it's isometric. This.
Oh, Tef froze. Oh, we got him back.
Hello.
Your camera's froze, but that. Oh, goddamn, we both froze now. It's whenever I pull up Discord. There we go. All right. Go on. Do you want? What were you saying? Isometric.
I just said isometric Dishonored. That's basically it, isn't it? From what I can say.
Yeah, I mean, It's interesting because it is from the co-creators of Dishonored and Prey, and both of those games are good. So I'm intrigued.
Cool.
Other than that, we also had more New World footage, which is Amazon's new MMO, which is coming out August, I want to say.
Yes, 25th of August, apparently.
Yeah, which I'm keeping a close eye on because I am the MMO guy. I come from down your way.
I'm intrigued. We'll have to see.
So,
I mean, Amazon only have one game out at the moment, don't they? And I think we've already spoken about it on here. But yeah, it doesn't look great.
It was very uninspired and like had no soul to it. So they even they had to cut all the other game modes in it because the PR message was we've cut them all to focus on this one game mode. But I'm pretty sure it just means no one else is playing. So yeah. But I mean, you can also get beta early access by pre-ordering now, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
Capitalism.
Which annoys me because it's like I could be covering that early, but I'm not spending money to pre-order it.
Especially when you don't know how good it'll be.
Yeah.
It'll be dreadful.
So I mean, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out. I'll probably cover it closer to launch, I imagine. We'll see. But yeah, we also then had Surgeon Simulator 2. Surgeon Sim's back. They're back with a new game. It looks like even more goofy than before.
It's co-op now, isn't it?
It's so I'm not sure how exactly it works, but you go around. You're actually in like a hospital that you can move around as the actual surgeon, and then you have the person. So you have to go around and find like the tools and stuff you need and bring them over, and then there's a gun that shoots out body parts and stuff like that. So it looks very wacky.
Sounds great.
It's got. I think it's 4-player co-op as well. I think.
Oh yes.
It's definitely co-op, I know that.
Sign me up.
So it looks like it'll be a wacky, fun little adventure.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it's like Surgeon Sim's quite fun. It's good like party game.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of fun. Though they did, the game has the concept's been around for a long time. It was called Operation back in the day, back in my day.
Shut up, you boomer.
But yeah,
I mean, it's not exactly a skill-based game, though, is it? A Surgeon Sim, you know. No.
It's just a funny little.
Just gonna hammer and just start cracking ribs.
So listen, the more blood that starts spilling out, the better you're doing. The meter might say otherwise, but I'm enjoying the blood spill.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
But yeah, we're almost at the end now. So, real briefly, there's a new Escape from Tarkov patch, brand new map. You're in like a city. It's all sort of. It's got a bit more verticality to it. Escape from Tarkov, we briefly mentioned, but for those of you who don't know, which, I don't know, if you're on Twitch, you probably know what Escape from Tarkov is at this point, because it blew up, like, a few months back. It's probably 6 months now. It's been a while. But, it's just like, you go in, you have a character, and when your character dies, you lose all your stuff, but you also have, like, this inventory of stuff, and you can go in as, like, if you want to go in with Norton, you can go in as, I forget like a scout, and you can kill other players and take their stuff out to add to your like stockpile for your actual character to go in and complete missions and stuff. And that's kind of how it works. That's the gameplay loop. And they got a brand new map now, so that's cool. It's nice to see them throwing out updates for it. I think they've been pretty consistent, which is why I wanted to play it like a couple of years back. When it was like, it didn't first come out a couple of years ago. I don't know when it came out, but got my attention a few years ago. But yeah, that's Escape from Tarkov. And then lastly, the big main thing to talk about is Outlast Trials. So, we all know the Outlast games here.
We do, of course we do.
But, so Outlast Trials is Outlast... It's Outlast free, but... I don't know if it is Outlast free. I mean, it's not called free, but it's like a co-op game? It's Outlast with co-op, and you're like... So the idea is you're all people being experimented on during the Cold War or something along those lines.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So that sounds about right. Doesn't look like there's much information on it at the minute, really.
I'm trying.
Yeah, it just says set in the era of the Cold War, human guinea pigs are involuntarily recruited by the good folks of the Murkoff Corporation to test advanced methods of brainwashing and mind control. Yeah, and yeah, it is co-op. Like, so it says, Red Barrels invites you to experience mind-numbing terror, this time with friends. Work together or die alone, and maybe you'll survive the Outlast trials. So I think the idea is, you have to work together to get out because your character's being brainwashed. So I think there's gonna be like hallucinations, or maybe like involuntary movements that you're gonna have to be dealing with.
There was a lot of that in Outlast games. To be fair, it was a lot of like mind psychology stuff.
Yeah. So I think that's a cool concept. Not gonna be particularly scary, but
I mean,
really
the
cool
Outlast
idea.
games aren't. I mean, games like that aren't. After you see the first monster in the game and you have to deal with it, like if you've dealt with it once, you just like it just gets annoying. For me personally, at least.
No, I agree. Games like that.
Tef cut out again. No, Tef, come back. Tef.
Like always the best. No, hello.
You back?
Hello?
Yeah, you're back.
I was just saying, moving swiftly on, I was just saying, in like Amnesia and Outlast, it's always the first 20 minutes or so. That's always the best part of the game before you actually see the monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the fear of the unknown. I remember, like, Resident Evil 7, do you remember the demo for that? That had a lot of, like, spooky supernatural stuff going on, which
you had the girl, like, looking through the window, and she was behind you at certain points as well.
That's PT.
No. So the what's her name? The little girl, who's actually the.
Is it Evelyn?
Evelyn. So that's it. So in different runs of the demo, it actually changed occasionally. So she'd be behind you.
They updated it and moved things around too, didn't they? Yeah.
She also was like in the window, just like watching at certain points, but you wouldn't know, like unless you were like actively paying attention. She was always out the corner of your eye. It was around the same time as PT, so I guess they took a lot of inspiration for the demo. Yeah,
they definitely stole a lot of stuff from PT to get the Resi 7 off the ground. But like my point was that demo was absolutely terrifying because you didn't have any idea what was going on, and then as soon as you actually played Resi 7 and it explained it, and you realised it was another campy Resi game, you were just like, oh okay. But that demo was terrifying because you had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, it was like, this is Resident Evil, isn't it? You're like...
Yeah, it was going full Silent Hill, and there was loads of weird supernatural things. Like, things like, even little simple things, like there was the mannequins in the loft in the guest house.
And they kept changing, didn't they?
Yeah, like, one time you go up there, and they've all changed, they moved around to stare at you, because they were previously facing the wall. Little things like that, which you don't expect in Resi, so it was scary.
The game doesn't really do that either, though, does it? That was just like a demo thing. I don't know why. That was the direction.
They were fully leaning into PT for the demo, but that made it so much scarier because it had that psychological aspect.
But yeah, there was a lot of like mystery around the mannequins and stuff. Like you got different items that you weren't sure what to do with them as well, and there was a lot of people fairy crafting that, which I guess it was very good PR for them. But yeah,
very good demo. Yeah,
it was a solid demo. But yeah, that's it for the PC Gaming Show, at least. There's a few other things that I've kind of skipped over. There was like a game that kind of looked like Thief, got Gloomwood. They actually even they were like, wait till the end of the show for a secret hidden trailer, and everyone was like, Bloodborne Pot, Bloodborne Pot, Bloodborne Pot. They were all expecting Bloodborne for PC, and then they were like, here's Gloomwood. Remember that game we showed you a little early on? Here's a bit more gameplay from it, for whatever reason. It was very strange.
Nobody asked for this.
But yeah.
And yeah, that's there are other things, but I don't think there's anything that we can talk about. Like there's an Elite Dangerous expansion, but we don't play that.
We did mention that briefly.
Did we?
Yeah, I mentioned that. That was the first thing I mentioned.
Oh, well, I must have switched off.
It's alright.
That's Elite Dangerous. It does not interest me at all.
I mean, I was kind of interested in it back when it came up, but from what I heard, it's a lot of like just it's like Death Stranding but in space.
Yeah, it is just Space Korea, the game. Like games like that always, in theory, they sound amazing to me, but in practice, they're always just grind fests or some excuse to get money out of you, like EVE Online is. So,
see, what I want from a space, I want a space MMO where you build. I want it to be like EVE, you build ships and stuff, but it's in like a first-person perspective, or it could be third-person, but like. When you get in a ship, the whole ship has an interior, you move about, you need a crew to operate it. I want that where it has to be players operating. and then I want to, maybe when you sit in the ship, you have like a different view. But then I want the ship to take damage in certain places, you have to get out and you have to like evacuate a ship, get in an escape pod. Maybe you can then crash the escape pod into the other player's ship, get inside, get out, and start blasting them.
Good.
Give me a space MMO. Someone, publishers, hire me. I'll make it happen.
That is what Guns of Icarus was meant to be like. But then it kind of just fell apart a bit.
That was more of an arena shooter, though, wasn't it?
No, it began as an arena shooter, but when it first came out, they said that the arena shooter was just essentially an early access thing, and that later on it was going to be a more open world MMO style game, but that just never really came to fruition. They gave up on it, I think.
Okay. But yeah, I never heard about that. I knew they were making like a single player story sort of thing. Or it was like it was not an online mode. It was like a co-op mode where you go up against AI and stuff. But yeah. I don't know. That's what I want for a space MMO. Give it, please. Just make my dreams come true. Someone. I would play so much of that.
I would. That sounds great.
I'd be just getting in an escape pod just for the hell of crashing into someone else's ship and ruining the day. And then combine it with the hardcore, where if you die, you're done. Combine all my MMO ideas into this ultimate.
No one would play this game except you.
I'd be the sole survivor because I'm the only person playing.
There can only be one. Until you die, and then your account gets deleted permanently.
You get IP banned. That's what I want though. That's the show then. Yeah, we went with like 2 hours 22 minutes in, so it was a longer show than usual today. But I mean, to be fair, there was a lot to cover. There was a lot to cover.
Guess.
But yeah, so Tef, where can the people find you? What can they find you on?
Mostly on Twitter. I still have the Twitter at Teffers. I'll whack it in the.
Go plug that in chat.
Go plug, yeah. I mean, I just occasionally just get a bit opinionated, like I do on this. It's basically just for that. If you like game industry stuff, I'll probably just be responding to games journalists and moaning because that's what I do.
Fair enough.
Go do it. Go have a look.
And then
can't hurt, can it?
You did also put out that Shadow of the Colossus article the other week.
I did. I plugged that last week though.
So,
not as changed since then. I think all you guys have seen that.
Yeah, I think most people have seen it. But if you want, scroll up in the Discord announcements. It's in there somewhere. You can find Tef and his writing abilities talking about Shadow of the Colossus. Something an away game. Something that we talk about constantly anyway.
We do. I think this is the first time we've gone through a whole podcast without bringing up an away game, actually.
We're mentioning it. I've got to get it in there. Shadow of the Colossus. Eco.
Great
Last
game.
Guardian. Great games. Away Woo. Away number one.
Woo.
Okay. So, you probably all know me, but if you don't, I mean, Zanrise on Twitch, Zanrise on YouTube, Zan Games on Twitter, The Real Zanrise on Instagram. You can find me everywhere. Feel free to go have a look about. We do also have some podcasts on the Castbox. I think I might even put this up as I might start putting these podcasts up in an audio format for people if they want that. Could start throwing them up on Castbox. But yeah, that is it. That's the show. So, oh, you sound very sad, Tef.
Oh, I don't want it to end.
I do. I
love this podcast.
Gotta go lie down.
Just lie down, stare at the ceiling, contemplate life.
Yeah, these podcasts are a lot of fun though. I feel like this, and I like doing this on our Thursday game nights, and then the indie game night. I don't know. I like it. I like doing everything now.
I like everything.
I'm just having a lot of fun because I get to talk more game industry, and I feel like I've been a little out of the loop for a while, so it's good to get back into it.
I've dragged you in, kicking and streaming, right back into the game industry.
I get to just scream about microtransactions and be upset with everything again. The good old days.
Don't get me started, man. Don't get me started.
But yeah, so thank you for watching, everyone. Thanks for coming on by, hanging out. We'll be back next week complaining more about video games. Probably be a lot less to talk about next week, though. It'll definitely be a shorter show. If you want to, find Tef anywhere else as well, you can catch him on Thursday because we've got a game lined up that we're going to be playing together, doing our typical story game co-op sort of situation with one controller. It'll be fun times. So feel free to come on by. But yeah, that's it for me. I'll see you all on Thursday. Thanks for watching, everyone, and We'll see you next
Bonsoir.
time. Bonsoir.